Hello, my love. What's good? What's poppin'? Welcome back to another episode of the Howdy Podcast. My name is Jasper. Today, I'm really excited. Joining here with me today is an overall content creator, Jordie Seay. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Yeah, I'm great. Like I
Good.
went out for a pub crawl last night, so I'm feeling a little bit hungover right now. But but other than that, the excruciating headache, I'm feeling wonderful. But this could just be the alcohol in my system. So
Naps
so
always
today,
good.
yeah, good times. But today we'll be talking about some of the most infamous controversies in the BL industry that were swept under the rug. So we know that Thailand boys love BL industry is certainly competing with Korean dramas these days, with
Mhm.
several BL drama releases coming out each week. So these stories feature mainly male and male romance stories. So however, with the profusion of dramas being released and the number of actors coming on board, its scandals will follow. Whether it's crazy fans, BL actors, or production houses, here are some bizarre moments that have led to some actors in Thailand BL's industry to be cancelled or boycotted. So first of all, let's talk about the series of the whole controversy of this series, Two Moons, which was a big hit for production of Motive Village, which star God, Bass, Copter, Kimon, Tae, and T. However, hot on the heels of its success was a host of scandals. So Tumus was supposed to be a three-season series with the same cast. However, Motive Village claimed some copyrights violation of the entire cast and had issues with God, who left on his own. They then cast all new actors without prior knowledge of the previous cast, who were undoubtedly miffed. So the original cast of Two Moons did not quit. However, they were never informed that shooting of Two Moons 2 was happening with an entirely new cast. They only found out themselves when the press release came out with the new cast list, but the original cast was not under Motive Village's management. All the cast members of Two Moons 2, however, were part of Motive Village management. So, first of all, with an issue like this has definitely not been the first. So, legally speaking, I think like Motive Village does have the right to change within terms of their contract, but does management have the right to randomly change the cast of actors when the media outlet finds it hard to handle them, or for whatever reason the company encounters financial issues?
Um, Personally, I think that not. I think it's very technically they do have the right, but I think it's very unprofessional when you don't at least inform. And a similar incident is like I don't know if you follow like K-pop news at all or not, but Jessie and Shoterview, she was Sunmi took over for her, but she didn't know. She found out from a fan, and I think that's just to me it's very cowardly because I don't know if they were just not wanting to inform them and it was kind of just a oh like well we can do whatever we want so oh by the way you're not going to be in Two Moons 2 type of thing, but I think it's just very unprofessional. You can at least give a notice, at least so that the actors or the talent aren't looking forward to doing that next project.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure like a lot of them were scheduling around that
Yeah.
and saying hey like we're probably going to be filming for this around here, so we need to schedule around that. And then you find out oh you're not going to be in, and they come out with a new cast and you're like wait what.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I think it's very unprofessional and
Yeah.
honestly yeah it's trash.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I agree with you. So then comes Two Moons too. So with as you've mentioned, like with newly cast actors like Benjamin Brazier,
Mhm.
Earth, Jung, Nine, Pavel, and Dome, which went on to great success, all except for Dome, were bound to contract to MV. So for the remaining two seasons. So MV tried to make a boy band called OXQ, comprising all actors
Mhm.
except for Earth, whom the company deemed unsuitable because he lacked the chemistry and skill set as a major deterrent to his inclusion. And that has led to some speculations as well that he was sexually harassed on set, and apparently some actors revealed that they were underpaid. So naturally it has caused a lot of commotion among fans, as some believe that MV is playing favorites. So I feel like there's a lot that went on with this controversy, just with,
Yeah.
with this whole debacle itself. Let's just dissect the controversies one by one. So first of all, do you think that was the case? Do you think that Motive Village claimed that he's more suitable as an actor than being in a boy group?
um I feel that regardless, he they should have at least tried to incorporate him in there, because I mean, let's be honest, there are a lot of these actors that aren't suited to be in boy groups in the first place, but they still are in boy groups. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe one bit that, they were just like, oh, he's not suited for this. There had to be something more, because it looks really bad that, Pavel, Dome, Nine, Jung are all, and Ben are all in this group, and then Earth's over here like, you know, and we didn't get an official statement like from Earth immediately when OXQ like debuted.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it was kind of like some behind the back type of thing, some issues between him and someone else or other people in the industry. So I don't think it was as easy as, oh, he's not suited for
Mm-hmm.
a boy band. It can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about the whole sexual harassment thing. So I actually don't really know much about it, and I feel like you might probably know, or at least I'd be able to shed some light on this issue. So can you explain to me, and maybe possibly the listeners who don't really know much about like what actually happened about Earth when there are some speculations around him that he was sexually harassed. So what actually happened?
To be honest, I don't even really know that much about it, because it's kind of like it was all of a sudden a thing on Twitter that that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And not many people really knew a lot of information except for Piam. Apparently, he knew a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he made a whole series that was extremely similar to the situation that Earth had. I
Yeah.
haven't even watched the series yet, but apparently there was some things going on where a director or a producer or something um, was saying like, hey, if you want to do this, if you want to do that, then you have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I only know to that extent. So I can't really speak that much on that specific issue,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. But apparently Piam knows everything about it, because apparently his
Yeah.
series is literally, the exact event that happened. And he's been very vocal about it on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Like he's very vocal about the
Yeah.
whole. He really spoke out about the whole favoritism thing as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Motive Village then collaborated with Chinese entertainment company NSMG to participate in an idol survival
Hmm.
contest in China. So it was only Jung and Nine were selected and heavily promoted, leaving the rest of the cast members in limbo. So they were still under contract but had no jobs to do.
Hmm.
This then led to Ben to do a Twitch live to voice their situation. The situation eventually went out of control when Pavel and Ben became really angry at Jung and Nine. So as we mentioned, like director took to the social media, possibly favoritism. So
Hmm.
yeah, Motive Village still denied all their statements and continued to put out promotional content on their socials. So at this point, I personally think like it is a case of favoritism
Oh, absolutely.
when not one but three actors are put out of a job. So
Yeah.
do you think this is the case?
I think there was some favoritism in it. I mean, they obviously saw that Jung and Nine were trying to do like more, and they saw that Chung was going to be a huge platform
Mm-hmm.
to possibly bring um, exposure to Motor Village. So of course they're going to promote those two. The only thing is, which I don't really understand, is when Nine and June went to China,
Mm-hmm.
they got rid of their parts in Two Moons 2 on YouTube,
Yeah,
specifically their
yeah,
parts.
yeah.
And I kind of get it, because obviously China is a little bit more of a conservative country when it comes to that type of stuff, and their censorship and stuff like that. So they probably wanted to just create a clean slate for
Mm-hmm.
the two. Um, but it's really weird that they only started to promote them, and then Ben, Pavel, and Dome are just kind of like, you know, sitting on the sidelines
Yeah,
and not
yeah,
doing anything. It's like,
yeah.
what you could have been doing stuff with them, while June and Nine were in China. So like, what's the deal? You could have still did Two Moons 2 promotions, if that's what it was. You could have promoted Dome and Pavel's ship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you
But
know,
why do you think there was a favoritism?
I feel that maybe there was something along the lines of um like the give and take kind of thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to do certain things in order for you to get something out of this partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like in the entertainment industry, a lot of it is who you know and how well you know them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like maybe people like Ben, Pavel, or Dome have voiced any type of like disagreement with anyone. That could have been a factor. They could have
Mm-hmm.
said, you know, hey, I don't agree with this or something like that. And then immediately they're just like, okay, well, we're going to blacklist you because
Oh,
no, you
yeah.
know, like, so there's a lot of ways this could have gone.
Yeah.
But hey, it's just so like this whole Two Moons 2 thing is just so messy. And there's
Mm-hmm.
so many like avenues that
Yeah.
or like stories that I've seen on Twitter. It's really hard to like really piece together what actually
Actually
happened.
happened. Yeah,
It's
same.
so messy. Oh my god.
Yeah. So we know by this point Ben, Pavel, and Earth were looking at ways to end their contracts. So at the end,
Mhm.
all cast members, including Jung and Nine, were free of their contracts as of 2021.
Mhm.
So nobody really knows what actually happened to Motive Village, but they
Right.
did announce the production of Two Moons 3. What do you think
Yes.
about that?
I mean, at least they knew they weren't going to be in Two Moons 3. I guess I'm like, like, I don't honestly, I don't know how well this is going to do. I don't think it's going to do well at all.
Yeah.
Just because after a while, once there's so much controversy
Yeah.
behind certain production companies and certain things, people are naturally just going to be like, you know, it's not going to come without some type of mess. So I don't want to, you know, spend
Mhm.
my time watching this and then something happens to the people that I get attached to and my favorites, and then I don't see them anywhere again. Because I know in Two Moons 2, a lot of people, like, of course, people loved Ben and Earth's couple, but a lot of
Mhm.
people loved Pavel and Dome and
Yeah.
Ming and Kit, you know, and or June and Nine. Like, a lot of people loved, you know, the other couples as well. And now it's kind of like you don't get any of that anymore. Like, you don't see them
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently Earth he's recast in Two Moons 3.
I don't know if he's cast in Two Moons 3. I know he's promoting a different series now.
Okay. Okay.
I forgot what it's called though. I know his partner I think is Gun Gun, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm not sure about Two Moons 3 though.
Okay, because I've read somewhere online apparently like he's recast back he's back on Two Moons 3, but he's not playing the character White Wayo.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just thought it was very interesting. Like,
What?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
What
I had
is
the same
Motivated
reaction. I was
Village
like, what
doing?
is happening?
Like why would you cast someone that you wrote off into I don't know. Anyways, that makes my head hurt.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
let's move on. So now that we've talked about Jung, so Jung at one point he explained to his Turkish friends on his Instagram page that he
mhm,
wasn't gay because he was on Two Moons 2 in 2018. He
mhm,
said that I'm a man in real life, not gay. So
mhm,
Jung's action prompted Motive Village to issue an apology and gave Jung
mhm.
a probation.
Right.
While a fellow actor named Frank Saran, I'm so sorry, I feel like I'm just butchering his name.
It's
I'm
okay.
very
Thai
sorry.
names are long as crap.
Our Sky. Here's an actor in Our Skies. He also
Mhm,
tweeted, "I'm a man, not gay. Thank you," in an unrelated post in 2021. So,
mhm,
and also Chris Parawat from Sota's Our Sky was another
mhm,
actor who vehemently objected to the notion that he is gay. So, on one of his Instagram live sessions, a fan asked, "Are you gay?" And he replied with, "Absolutely no." Their comments have left some BL fans extremely disappointed. Do you think it's
mhm.
okay to ask about someone's sexual orientation?
I don't think it. I think it's a case by case situation.
Hmm.
Some people are okay with it. Some people are not. I will say that when it comes to how Thai people respond to what like those kind of allegations,
Hmm.
when they say I'm a man, not gay, a lot of times as English speakers, native English speakers, we are like, what do you mean you're a real man and not,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it's because in Thailand they consider like being a part of the LGBTQIA plus community as a third gender, not necessarily lumped in with man and woman or anything in between. They just consider it just a third gender. So a lot of times I feel like when they respond to that and they say that, like it's more so like they're taught that it's a third gender. Because if you, I mean, I haven't seen it happen yet, but if you ask like a woman if they're gay in Thailand, they're probably going to say, no, I'm a real woman, I'm not, you know. So that I can see. It, whether it's right or wrong, I don't think it's right to have like that as a third gender. And they are working to like, you know, dissolve that type of, you know, narrative in Thailand.
Yeah.
But as far as Chris's situation, sometimes I don't understand um like the issue a lot of people have with, like, I understand sometimes, but like with specifically him denying that he was gay. And I think people don't really understand that these actors on a day-to-day basis probably get asked that question a lot of times, and you get to a point where you're like, oh my god, no, like absolutely, like I'm not, you know. And I don't think, like, he didn't say anything like that was homophobic. He just said like, I'm absolutely not gay, you know. And I feel like a lot of us get caught up in this whole shipping culture and just being like, oh my God, they're probably together in my head and stuff like that. And then we're just like, and we disregard that these are probably people who are either struggling with their sexuality and they don't want to come out. So they're just like, no, you know, or, you know, they are actually straight, or like they may be bi or whatever. And they're just like, stop asking me this question. Like, no, I'm not. And I will say that anytime I ask someone about Chris, like, what did he do? They can never give me a straight answer. And it's like, I'm like, if you're going to be mad at him, be mad about the like rape jokes and stuff like that he laughed at, not the fact that he said, no, I'm not gay, you know? So I feel like, you know, we get caught up in that, but
yeah, I agree
yeah.
with you. Like, I think you did raise some really good points. So like for me, if someone asked me this, I would say it really depends on the context as well. If you if you ask someone at the event like a gay pride or a gay bar or any environment with people, they are very likely a part of the LGBTQ community. I think it's okay. So if you ask someone who mentioned like his boyfriend or her girlfriend, I think it's okay as well. Basically, when the person doesn't seem to hide himself or herself, I think it's all right. But if you're asking a random person or someone who isn't open about the subject, I think it's a little bit intrusive. So yeah, especially if the person is in the closet, asking them can be extremely stressful for them. Especially if they're not in a very tolerant environment. Basically, if the person isn't obviously open about the subject, it's really none of our business. So I'll probably respond something like, I'll probably be like, "Fuck off, bitch! It's none of your business." But you thoughty ass bitch, it's none of your business.
Just like mush their head away. Just
yeah. But if it was you, how would you respond to it?
I'm very open. So like if someone asked me if I was gay, I'd be like, oh yeah, like you know, whatever. But like you said, not a lot of people are like that. Not a lot of people are either out or they're not just comfortable with someone just being intrusive and asking what their sexuality is. And you know, I feel like a lot of people, if you were asked, hey, are you straight? A lot of us would be like, no. So I'm just like, you have to look at both sides when it comes to that type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. But do you think their responses were appropriate?
If I'm speaking on how I view our community and stuff like that, I don't like how they responded. I can understand how they responded though. Like, I get how Chris responded. He's like I assume he gets those questions every single day. And I'm pretty sure there are people that ask him at fan meets and stuff like that, and probably still ask him the same question. And then with Jung and Frank, like I said, I don't like how they responded, but I get that they responded that way because of what I know about Thai culture and like the Thai government and everything about that. So I get it. I don't like it, but I have to look at it diplomatically. I can't be mad because they responded a certain way when in their country that's how things are, you know, perceived, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes any sense.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So on that note, so now that we mentioned about Chris and Singto, and you kind of mentioned about like
Mhm.
the rape controversy that has
Mhm.
happened. So while Chris and Singto, so for those of you who don't know what happened, so Chris and Singto, they were testing filters on a live feed. So Singto found one that blurred his face. He commented that he looked like a rape victim in an interview, and that Chris was one who raped him. So I'm not the one for normalizing rape culture, but I feel like this might be ingrained in their society. So do you think there might be a double standard when international fans like criticize them for making jokes about
Ye-
rape?
Yeah, I feel like there's a double standard because it specifically right now, Ken Porsche. It's like a lot of people overlook those things when they're in a series or if it's fiction. Um, but they when it's like, two actors actually making a joke, it's like, whoa. But again, so why aren't you critiquing that in the series as well? Because there's a lot of series where it's like no consent is given, but it
Mm-hmm.
still happens, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, like that scene was so amazing," So
Yeah.
it's and when you call it out, it's very much like the opposite end is very much defensive about it. Not everyone, but there are those fans that are just like, what do you mean? Like, but they're the same ones to, call out Chris. I say Chris only because people really don't go after Syncto.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I never see Syncto slander like on my Twitter anywhere, which is interesting because Syncto made the joke. But um like it's just so like it's so like ignorant and like double, like there's such a double standard when it comes to that, and it's crazy to me. I don't know how that just happens, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. But do you think like as a public figure should jokes like this should ever be tolerated?
I don't think that jokes like that should be tolerated, especially when not in media at least. Like
Mm-hmm.
I get shows having it in there, but I think that there should also be an era of consequence when it comes to that, so that
Mm-hmm.
people, because of course, there are people who are older that watch BL like myself, um and then there are very young people, like impressionable minds, and they're like, oh, so like if a guy or if a girl comes up to me and does this and stuff like that, it's okay. And it's like, no, it's not. So I feel like there should be an era of like consequence, and you know there should be a distinction of, okay, well, this isn't a show, but we shouldn't do this in real life. It's not
Mm-hmm.
okay. Um, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very, very good point. So now let's talk a little bit more about like Mew, Supposit, and Art Pakpum.
Mhm.
They have been together for What the Duck, but they have been in a controversy. So during the promotion of the series, the pair spent a night in Mew's apartment. So
Mhm.
afterwards, Art publicly and tearfully revealed in a live stream that Mew kissed him and that he wasn't comfortable with it. So
Mhm.
while Art considered Mew as a brother, he allegedly that tried to tell Mute his own friends to stay away from Art. So all of this clouded the Mute Art fandom, which fans split in opinions. Some
Mhm.
accuse Art of seeking attention, while others accuse Mute of sexual harassment. So
Mhm.
what do you think about the situation?
I think both of them are at fault,
Yeah.
just because, like, okay, if based off the information we have and what Art has said in the live that he had, I don't think it's okay to basically tell your friends not to like talk or interact with Art just because you didn't get your way.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, as many MewArt like lives as I've watched, and I get that sometimes it's like fan service,
Mm-hmm.
but some of the things that you're doing, I'm like, do you really have to do this? And I feel like maybe Mew was taking um cues from that. So maybe he like, went in and, kissed Art, and he was just like, no, I don't like that. And then I'm like, okay, well, he kissed you. He thought, he had an advance. Okay, he shouldn't have did that.
Mm-hmm.
But with for Art to like go on live and just blow up the whole situation, I always say like, if you guys are gonna have an issue, especially between like the two. Handle it privately, please. Like, take notes from, I mean, you couldn't back then, but take notes from Mike and Top Tap and just handle it behind the scenes. Like, people are still wondering what's happening with Mike and Top Tap, but they don't know because they handled it without making it a public spectacle.
Yeah.
So I think that.
Did you think that it's a case of sexual harassment, or was it just a case of unreciprocated relationship that ended really badly?
I feel like it's just a case of unreciprocated like love. Like if the only thing that happened was he tried to kiss you and you didn't like it, and then it was just like, okay, that's it. Okay, yeah. If he continued to try to pressure you into doing certain things, then at that point it does become SA, and then it's like, okay, whoa, like you're in the wrong. But if he just kissed you, then you could say like, hey, I don't like that. And then if he backed off, then cool. All right, moving on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually think it's probably just an unreciprocated relationship that ended really badly. Like, I know Mew wasn't a saint with Art, but this, like, outing Mew and his feelings for Art could have completely destroyed Mew's career.
Yeah.
This can be quite contentious, but in my opinion, the only reason like Mew survived all of this is because he's quite masculine, or at least straight looking.
Yeah.
So I understand why Art went live, but it was very thoughtless on his part. I'm glad that they eventually forgave each other for what happened, or have been talking to, like, they haven't been seen talking since. So I'm actually kind of curious, like, why did Art get all the blame in the situation?
Honestly, it probably has something to do with what you said. Mew has like a more masculine, like he presents as masculine. So, and not saying that Art doesn't present as masculine, but I feel like people were also kind of like, why did you go on live crying, sobbing, and like to me it looks very performative. In my opinion. So I feel like that's why people kind of were just like, okay, Art's wrong, so I don't know. It's it's really hard to pinpoint that, because like the only thing I can come up with is that they didn't like how Art handled it, and Mew kind of handled it a little bit better than he did. So and then at the same time, Mew's about to get casted into Tarn Type, so obviously, he's doing this promotion, and then there are fans that are trying to like, get this promoted instead of focusing on the MewArt thing again. So
yeah, for sure. I agree with you. So now let's talk about a little bit more about like the BL industry fandom. So Thailand's BL industry fandom is undoubtedly all about ships, right? As you've mentioned, it's all about fan service. It's all about shipping, the shipping culture. So there are a few popular ones who managed to gain a loyal band of fans who support their fan service. So the premise behind, like, for those who don't know what fan service, the premise behind fan service is usually to perpetuate the myth that the couple are more than just friends. Some fans buy into this entirely. So when the one of them has a girlfriend, which isn't uncommon, fans tend to turn on them. So to name a few, the most recent case involved Mile, and from Kin Porsche series, he was literally lambasted online for dating someone. Fans of Max Tool, so we're shocked to see Max with actress Mook when Mook took her post down soon after. Max also has made a public announcement on March 2021 that he was indeed dating Mook. And there's also the case of Nanon, where they became really popular from Bad Buddies. Like they had a surge in popularity recently due to their highly successful BL drama. While fans love their off-screen relationship, things actually took a turn when was found hanging out with a random girl. So, on one hand, like, some believe it's extremely intrusive to pry into actors' private life, just like any other people. While on the other hand, others might argue that they are public figures; they don't have a private life, because fans do get curious about, what their life is like. Is it ever the actor's fault when they're pressured to break up?
No, it's never the actor's fault. It's always the fans who have this weird sense of ownership in their head. It's like I've even seen some people tweet like something along the lines of like, we're the ones who got you here, so why would you
Hmm.
betray us? Things like that. And I'm like, what? These are real people
Yeah.
doing, real, like, having a real job and wanting to like have some of that to themselves. The fact that you feel that you are entitled to every aspect of their life beyond the screen, like, in their show, shows that you are just the most entitled type of person. And you honestly probably need to like get out from under the rock, go touch some grass, you know, go have a social life probably, because it's ridiculous. Like, they don't owe you any type of reason why they're dating. They're human, so they're obviously going to date people. And I feel like most of the time when um they find out that actors have girlfriends, it's less that they are in a relationship, and it's more so that they're not in a homosexual relationship. And they go off on the girl, and they blame the girl for like taking the actor away from his like BL partner and stuff like that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Where is this reasoning coming from?
Just look at Bright and Win.
Oh my god, the way they came after that poor girl.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I like were and
It's terrible.
like a spouse to someone, and like people, I would literally like go off on all of them. Like, I would post like a whole YouTube video and just be like F all of y'all, like that's why
Hmm.
he's my boyfriend.
Yeah, and
Like,
allegedly Omen too are they're confirmed to be, and they're confirmed to be in a series together. And I feel like GMMTV just they're literally just set up to get shitted on.
oh my god. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy.
So speaking on that note, what do you think about like when actors take on like heterosexual roles?
I love it. I actually watch like a lot of Lacorns, and I feel that a lot of their BL is like a certain type of genre, and it goes down a certain path as to how the like structure of the show is set up.
Hmm.
But when they act in Lacorns, it's like you get to see a different side of their acting prowess. A lot of times they get to play extremely different characters from the tropes that are always in BL. So I love watching Lacorns. I love watching like movies that they're in. Um, a lot of people don't know that Gunn is in like a lot of movies and different series outside of like just a ship with off,
Hmm.
because he was a child actor. And so I feel like you're shorting yourself if you really love this actor and you want to see them succeed and you want to see them, grow. Watch their other stuff, because a lot of times when they're in BL, they're put in this box, and when they go out and do other things, it's like, oh wow, like I didn't know that you had this in you from watching you in this series.
Hmm.
So I love it. I love Lacorns and like all the other side of Thai's media.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we know that in the BL world, shipping is actually quite important. That's how
Hmm.
like BL shows are often promoted.
Hmm.
I would say it is arguably the very foundation of BL. It's meant to be fun when rooting for a fictional
Right.
relationship of two characters being together.
Hmm.
Although it may sound harmless, however, when does shipping gets taken too far?
Um, I feel like shipping gets taken too far um when couples just start doing it um to the point where they're uncomfortable doing it. If you're uncomfortable and you don't like what's going on, I mean, I can almost guarantee that some of it is probably forced, and you know their managers and stuff are like, hey, you guys have to sell it. But I feel like when it comes to a point where you're just uncomfortable and it hinders your relationship, your actual relationship outside of the ship, I think
Hmm.
then that's too far. And when fans start to kind of bully you for not actually being a couple, that's when it's also too far.
Yeah.
Um, which I That's what I love about like other countries and how they handle it. It's like it's a ship for when the show is promoting, and then after that, it's like they still interact, but you know we're doing other things, guys. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So why do you think people ship real actors together?
I think part of it is a fetish. Like
Okay.
honestly, it's a fetish. Even though a lot of don't want to admit it, it's a you're fetishizing gay men. That's what it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you want them to be when you want them to be together, or you're like, oh, I wish they were together. It's like okay, but when literally that's all you want from them is for them to be together. It's like okay, move on.
Yeah.
You're crossing that line, and you need to come back down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I actually I have a theory about why people do that. It's just purely from my observations. I mean, like take it
Mhm.
with a grain of sand, but it seems like it kind of derived from the whole idea like these shippers are engaging with their idols on a level that nobody is, and I think is that if they keep on believing on this hypothetical secret relationship that they're so convinced of, that they aren't tricked by by management or any other person who says
Mhm.
otherwise, or the fact that they know the truth that they're in fact a couple that most people in the general public don't know about. And it seems to also give them a purpose to be devoted in finding out the truth to everyone else and
Yeah.
helping free their idols from this like secret relationship that they have to hide. Well,
Mm.
what do you think about that? Like, do you think?
Interesting. That's like teetering on like having like a savior god complex.
Yeah,
It's like, so you're wanting to free these idols or actors from the shackles of not being able to be in a relationship in real life.
yeah. It seems, at least it seems to me, when
Yeah.
I was just going through like social media. But I
Mhm.
don't know. What do you think?
I think that's actually a really good point. Like I can see how people can actually think that they're doing justice to the actors by trying to find this out and outing them.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, exactly. At what
that's
cost?
right. It like you hmm because that I mean, I feel like do they think that, that's gonna help them? Because I mean, look at New Year
Yeah.
and what's his boyfriend's name? New Year and is it Boss? I can't remember his name. But
Hmm.
like New Year's was a GMM TV actor, and um after he like came out and him and his boyfriend were like confirmed, it's like nobody really supported him anymore
Hmm.
because now have what you wanted, so it's like oh, okay. So same thing with Pluster, like he was in Friend Zone, and like when people found out about him, like you don't really see Pluster anywhere anymore, so a lot of people don't even know who Pluster is. So,
Yeah.
and it's weird that it happens after people find out about sexualities. It's almost like you said, it's finding out, and then after that, it's like I don't want anything to do with it anymore.
Yeah, and I feel like some shippers, they have to understand that whatever happens on screen is just acting,
Mm-hmm.
and the actors may not necessarily be a couple in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And as I think we've kind of touched upon it, like they're not bound together and are free to
Right.
partake any projects they want, whether together or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I think like for most, like for all the toxic shippers out there, like I just feel like if you picture yourself, you just have to have a little bit more empathy. Like if you picture
Mm-hmm.
yourself being an actor with a massive fan base of people who are convinced that you're dating a co-actor who happens to be your friend and are devoted to expose your secret relationship to free you or get upset when you're not actually dating each other,
Mm-hmm.
that can feel very invasive and in many ways
Yeah.
cross boundaries, right? So
Right.
you're essentially saying that you know more about them than they know about themselves, and I think why I've chosen this top this these like why I think I wanted to talk about it is because they start affecting people who are in it.
Yeah. I can imagine it just goes so deep, and like after a while, so honestly, this might be a little bit like people might not like what I'm about to say, but I honestly feel like sometimes that's why actors never come back to acting in a BL role,
Mm-hmm.
because they're just, like, when they get in it and they see how the bad side of the fandoms can be, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just gonna go. And then then they still get like crap because they left, and people are like, oh, so you left, you just did that to get famous, and now you're over
Yeah.
here. It's like,
Yeah.
probably not. They probably left because people were just so toxic and invasive. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So fan service in the BL industry, are you for it or against it?
Um, I like fan service. If it didn't happen, I probably wouldn't care that much. Like I probably like. I mean, I was here for the show. Like, once the show ends, I move on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't really engage that much with the couple after the show. It's like I still like them individually, and I like when they're together. Like, I watch their shows, like, Soulsat, Sose, and I watch like all the other stuff that they're in, like when they're together. But beyond that, I'm not like looking for pictures of them together on Instagram, or like digging, just trying to see like, their interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most of the time it's just after the show, and whatever like official media they're in, it never really goes past that for me. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, unless they're like doing something like kissing on Instagram, or like, then I'm like, whoa, okay, wait, what is this? But other than that, I'm just like, I mean, why would I want to just be that,
But do you think fan service ever gets taken too far?
Oh yeah, absolutely, all the time, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, I feel like when the two people involved in it are uncomfortable, that's a boundary that doesn't need to be crossed. And then when the fans
Mm-hmm.
start to disrespectfully demand that they're together all the time, then that's when it's like, okay, we need to put a halt to it. It needs to stop. So
Yeah. So, but regarding with like Mew and Golf, for example, like people
mhm,
actually truly believe that they were a couple because they're
mhm.
very lovey-dovey on
Yeah.
social media, and some would argue that they have taken fan service quite far. Do
Mhm.
you think in this instance, is it the actor's fault?
Of the delusion, I think maybe partial. Uh, it can, like I said, there's a lot of impressionable minds and a lot of like people who are really into this type of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're not actually like to that extent in your relationship, I feel like you shouldn't go there, because it's like, we're not together, so why are we like doing going above and beyond? Like, why are we
Mm-hmm.
going above and beyond, like the little cute interactions and the like fixing of the hair, making sure you're okay and stuff like that? Like, why are we going as far as like, you know, trying to kiss each other, or like, playing in that realm?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do also think that the fans should know how to filter that, and they should know that like what you see on screen, they're probably still acting. They
Mm-hmm.
know the camera's there, they're probably still acting. You just have to assume that. um I see like videos of the unscripted, like like interactions with, and then I'm like, they were at an event. I guarantee it probably was
It's
like,
scripted.
they knew what
Yeah.
they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, there was
Yeah.
this one with Mew and Golf backstage, and the camera was like up here, and then he was like fixing his collar and stuff like that, and like being really close. And I'm like, do you really think he didn't know that a camera was like somewhere? Even if he didn't know that was there, he probably knew like, we're at a public event. This is like,
Yeah. It's interesting though, because apparently they're not that close in real life.
exactly. So like, it all of a sudden they just stopped interacting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Wanjai, what's the excuse now? you know, so, and they even went after Golf's girlfriend when he first got in his ship with Mew too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Yeah. So what's your concept of shipping, what do you think is a healthy way of shipping?
I think like, just the little cute interactions, like I said, like fixing of the hair and um just showing that your friendship is can also be like, slightly intimate, like, but not in a relationship. Because, if you're really good friends with someone, there's always
Mhm.
like that, little slight bit of intimacy because you share everything with each other. You're always together. You're um you've probably seen the bad with that person and you've seen the good with that person. So obviously you're a lot closer and you care for them more than you would the normal person.
Yeah.
So I feel like those little like cute interactions and things are fine.
Mhm.
And that's where I cut the line at like healthy fan service. When you start making me feel like I'm going into like the Delulu realm, then I'm like, if I'm going into the Delulu realm, me as a very like grounded person, I
Uh-huh.
feel like a toxic fan is somewhere either writing a fanfic or they're like or they're like typing something like or making a video of like, oh, they're actually together, so
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with you. So are certain ships marketed to look real and overall just extremely attractive? For sure. Do
Mhm.
I get swept into the moment of the episodes? Yes. Do I think they have undeniable chemistry? Of course.
Mhm.
Do I have the right as a consumer of the media to criticize or worse, hate on the actors for any of their personal career choices? No, I can't
No.
do that. No, of course not. And I think people can support their ships as long as they don't make actors uncomfortable, harass
Right.
other people, or hurt anyone else. Yeah, so I think like yeah, I agree with you. There is a lot of delusional people out there.
It's like I don't know if they just try to find like a like solace in knowing that these ships could possibly be real or not,
Yeah.
but I just feel like we should take a step back and just know that if it's on screen and you're able to see it, it's probably not real.
Yeah, it's probably not real.
It's
Like
probably not real.
this is like the take home message. It's probably
Yeah,
not real. Don't
right.
yeah, just don't assume that they're an actual couple in real life.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so just to wrap things up. So, what are your future plans? What are some of the things that some of the listeners who are listening to this podcast should anticipate?
From me personally.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot actually. I'm doing like a lot of revamping of I guess my brand as a reactor because that's kind of where I started.
Mhm.
But I like to do like in-depth reviews and analysis of things. So, but
Mhm.
I want to make it like fun. So, I mean, of course, I've been doing like the ratchet explanations where I just like explain how a series or an episode went, how I would like talk to my like friends about it. And that's been going pretty well. And like, just making my channel more self-sufficient because I do want to do this as full time. I want to be a
Mhm.
creative full time. So I've been trying to figure out ways to make original content and but still keep the people that love my reactions satisfied as well. So
Mhm.
check out some of my new stuff, But yeah. So
Great.
that's what's going on in this camp.
Very
We're just
exciting.
revamping everything.
Revamping everything.
Yes.
Are there any like new TV series you're planning to react on your channel?
I've been doing a lot of like reacting on Patreon, especially today. Today was a big filming
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
So I watched the first episode of Plus and Minus.
Mhm.
Um, I've been like incorporating some like anime reactions too. So some anime reactions are coming to my channel. Um, let's see what
What
else.
are some good animes would you recommend to watch? Because I
So
also watch anime as well.
currently I'm watching Sword Hero, or not Sword Hero, Shield Hero, and I just started Spy X Family today, and I already love Spy X Family. Like the character builds are really really nice and how they interact. um let's see what else am I watching. I'm of course watching Boruto because you can't, once you start to watch Naruto you can't not watch anything related to Naruto. um let's see. I've started watching the new season of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. I really love that one, but those are the ones I'm watching right now. I think that's it. as far as anime. But yeah.
Great. I'm looking forward to watching
Yeah.
reactions to those. So if you enjoyed today's podcast, please don't forget to give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and all links will be in the description as well.
Yes.
Please don't forget to follow Jordie Seay. I'll also link his socials in the description box as well. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.